skylark? Have you seen a valley green with spring, where my heart can go a journey?
Hi guys, today I'm here with Margot Pierard, who's kindly agreed to an interview. Margot's an awesome jazz singer and we just had a little jam. So I've got some questions to ask you. So can you tell me how you first got into jazz and what inspired you to pursue singing?
Well, in my family, so my mum was a piano teacher and my dad was a clarinet teacher when we were little kids, and we all had to learn an instrument. So there was always music in the house. It was just a constant sort of thing. It was like some families are sporty families and we were just music.
Yeah.
But my dad was the editor of the paper here, and he used to get sent books and CDs to review all the time.
Okay.
And when I was about 8, he got a CD that was a compilation of Ella Fitzgerald, Nina Simone, Mahalia Jackson, I think Aretha Franklin was on there, and maybe Anita O'Day. There were a bunch of them, and Sarah Vaughan was definitely on there. And they were all singing 3 songs, and I was totally obsessed with it.
Right.
At 8.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I learnt all the songs, and I can't explain why I loved it so much, but I was obsessed with jazz from a really early age.
And were you the only one in your family that took to jazz, or?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. My brother Tom did go to jazz school.
Yeah.
But I think, well, I'm not sure. I don't want to speak for him, but I think that was more of a choice that was not just classical. It was an option to not do classical, but to still be at music school, and to get a degree. You know, there wasn't really it's not really an alternative music degree.
Were your parents like encouraging with jazz?
They were encouraging for me with jazz because I now know that I have ADHD, and it significantly impacts my life. So high school,
I would not have known. Like, we've just been jamming for the first time for like an hour or so, and I would not have known. Yeah.
Yes. Well, it's high school didn't work for me. Like, it's really difficult for me to focus. Actually, probably on the video.
Yeah.
When you're doing a solo.
Yeah.
I always have to really. It's always an effort for me to keep focus on it.
Yeah, I won't take that personally.
You never either. Please don't either, because I'm always listening, but I'm just so easily distracted. So anyway, when I was at school, I didn't do particularly well, and so when I was 15, I auditioned for jazz school in Christchurch and got in, and so it was sort of, this is something she can do quite well, so let's get her doing that, and then so that's what I ended up doing.
I remember when I first went to music school, it was the first time in my life I felt kind of normal. I felt like I was around people, you know, I could relate to, and I wasn't the weirdo, the weirdo music one anymore. Yeah.
Well, I think my whole family were the musical weirdos, so yes, that's okay. What was different for me was that I was so much younger than a lot of people that were there.
Okay. How old were you?
So I just turned 16. I was 15 when I auditioned, and I just turned 16, so I was hanging out with some, you know, it was a woman who was 35.
Yeah, right. That is very young.
So I was quite young to be.
Were you the youngest?
No, I'm in the middle of 5
I mean,
kids.
at the music school.
Yeah, definitely. I was the youngest.
Yeah.
Yeah. And they were quite sceptical, I think, when I was going to audition, but I got in. But I didn't have any family in the South Island. I didn't know anyone in the South Island. I can't quite believe that now, but yeah.
All right. How's your approach to interpreting jazz standards evolved over the years?
I think that for me personally, I'm not. It's not like singing a song. It's like telling a story and telling a story together with the musicians that I'm singing with. So it's probably never going to sound the same twice.
Yeah, I love that.
And it's probably sometimes it can be a little bit different depending on who might be listening to it. And often, so my interpretation of the song is me singing it as though it's a story about me, and I want you to feel how I felt in this moment. Yeah, that's how it is. It's more of a. It's never ever gonna. Well, as a person, I can't hide anything.
Yeah.
So I'm always just who I am. So I can't perform really.
Okay.
So it's more.
Do you make your choices of your repertoire, is that based on things you can relate to in the lyrics for telling that story? Or do you just get inside a song, any song that's put in front of you?
Any song that moves me,
Okay,
you know,
yeah.
where I feel like I really love Nina Simone sings Pain, so oh wow, you know, so she's beautiful. But then there are people like Anita O'Day and Ella Fitzgerald. They're not really storytellers, they're more instrumental vocalists.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, so they're not when you're listening to them singing a tune, you're not thinking particularly about the situation that they're singing about, you know? And so that's different again. And I don't enjoy that as much, but I still enjoy it in a different way.
Okay. What role does improvisation play in your performances, and how do you approach it when singing live?
Improvisation is kind of everything to me. So I don't particularly like rehearsing.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's a tricky one, and it depends on the situation really and the size of the band. You know, if I have a really big band, it's nice to have arrangements, but it's still, with phrasing, I'm still always going to be improvising, but the form won't be felt.
Right.
But I also really like when we were playing then, you know, the intros and outros, I love not knowing how they're going to go.
Okay. Yeah.
Because if you're playing with someone who's playing with you, which is not always happening between a vocalist and an accompanist, because an accompanist is not really. I mean, you're telling the story together. For me, that's how I'm singing with you. I'm not singing along to you.
Yeah.
And so it's I can't even remember the question.
I guess that in a duo situation, it's slightly different too when you get a larger ensemble.
But still, there are general rules with jazz. You know, there are general, and there's nothing quite like if people are all, you know, or if they're all listening. And they're confident enough in
the conventions
and everybody else, you know, they know everyone else is listening, so they can take it somewhere. Even a drummer can mess about with what everybody's doing, and I love that. So I really like to not have restrictions on that, which is quite funny because in life I have to have routine, but in music I prefer it if there's none.
Jazz has such a rich history. Are there any particular artists or eras that have influenced your style the most?
I really love Nina Simone, and probably a lot of the, like Sarah Vaughan, every song of hers was in a great key for me.
Okay.
And interestingly, her background is classical, but I always loved singing along to her when I was a kid because it was so easy for me to do that.
Yeah, right.
And I like, Ella Fitzgerald I love, but Nina Simone tells the story so beautifully. Like it's. Yeah.
Do you have a favourite song of Nina's?
That's really tough, but I love Black is the Colour of My True Love's Hair. I really, really love that song.
Who plays on that one?
She just plays piano.
Oh, piano.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yes, and I also love Lilac Wine, but I also love If I Should Lose You. That's, you know, like these are really, which is, another thing about singing, you know, her voice isn't particularly sweet, you know, but her ability to move with her voice is what is amazing. You know, you can have a lovely voice that's in tune all the time, but be completely unmoved by it.
Yeah, that's true. When you're preparing for a performance, what does your creative process look like in terms of selecting songs and crafting a set list?
Wow, anyone who plays with me can tell you that I'm not particularly good with that, because that's another thing about improvising is I really like room to shuffle around depending on how it's feeling at the time. But definitely like a even flow journey, like tension and release sort of.
Okay.
Yeah, you don't want to. Yeah, I think about how to start the gig and how to end the gig.
Yeah.
Yeah.
do you do themed shows sometimes?
I have done. I actually, the year that Nina Simone died, I did a Nina Simone tribute in the Wellington Jazz Festival. Nice. I've done that, and I did a all female jazz band, which I don't think I'll ever do again.
Why's that?
Because I think it's a mistake to choose musicians because of their gender.
Okay.
And actually, there was a lot of conversation about how awful it was to play with men, and I wasn't there for that. You know? I play with men a lot, and they're I love them. You know, they're my whānau, and they're beautifully caring people in my community, and I'm just not there to bitch about them. That wasn't the point of the...
Do you think men are overrepresented in the jazz world in New Zealand?
Oh, definitely. But they're overrepresented in lots of areas, and not just in jazz, you know.
So you think it's just good to get on with it and not make it fuss?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, if you're good, you're good. Yeah. And if you enjoy what someone's doing, you enjoy what someone's doing. You know, I mean, I just don't think your gender is relevant. And it's about musicianship. It's about choosing people who vibe with the same sort of musicianship that you do.
Okay. So jazz is often about collaboration. Can you share an experience where you felt particularly connected with the band or another musician on stage?
When I play with Will Sargentson. Yeah, Will Sargentson,
yeah. He's amazing,
He's really amazing, but he also, musically, and by no stretch could I ever call myself on an even level with him, by no stretch. However, I'm treated by him as though I am, musically. Yeah. So there's trust in me.
Puts you at ease. Yeah.
Totally puts me at ease, but also never second guesses my ability. So there's no question that I'm going to be able to fix it if I fuck it up.
Yeah.
Excuse my language. But, you know, there's total trust there in an oral sense.
Yeah.
And that makes it just all of those things with not rehearsing and with improvising. All of that becomes this amazing experience when you're playing with someone who you trust as much as they trust you, you know, and that's probably the biggest experience that I've had.
Trust is really important.
Yeah, trust in someone's oral ability and that they're actually in tune with you enough to even be able to maybe tell what you might do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. How do you keep your performances fresh and engaging, especially when singing songs that are well known or have been sung many times before?
Oh, that's a really good question. That's a hard one.
I think you just do it because you like when we were jamming before you said you like to just go for it and that in a way that does keep things kind of fresh. It puts people on their toes a bit. I don't really think about keeping. Yeah, I guess I don't think about that. I don't think about keeping them fresh. I think about how you're feeling in the moment.
How I'm feeling in the moment, and if I really love a song, then that's going to come through.
Mm-hmm.
And I just want people to feel how I'm feeling while I'm loving that song.
Yeah.
You know, and if I can give them that feeling, then that's good enough for me.
Nice.
And also I like musicians to be able to, because I've never seen it as being like me singing along with musicians accompanying me, I really like musicians to make choices like tempo, which really discombobulates lots of musicians.
Yeah, right.
You know, if they ask me how I want to do it, I'm like, well, how do you want to do it, you know?
Yeah.
How do you feel like playing it in this moment? Because I'll do that.
Yeah. I guess some people think it's their role as an accompanist to be polite and I'm accompanying this person.
Yeah.
Them setting the tempo. Right.
Yeah, but for me, we're doing this together.
Yeah,
it's the story that this is a communication that we're doing together for these people. Yeah, so it can be problematic because it's not. I guess it's not very conventional.
Oh, that's good. Okay, what do you think makes a great jazz vocalist, and how do you bring your own voice and interpretation to the music?
Well, improvising makes that really quite easy because however my voice is, I can make it work. So, for example, if I've got a cold and my voice is sounding a bit different, that's just like having a different instrument, you know? So you can kind of make it work. Sort of like I can adjust to most keys. I've got comfortable keys where there are moments in songs that I'd like to make the most of. But if it's not an ideal key, I can still work around that. I know my voice well. And I can, I know my voice well enough now, I think, to be able to, to be able to bring whatever's required in the moment, I think. I feel, if that doesn't sound terrible.
That's good. Where do you see jazz evolving in the future, and how do you hope to contribute to that evolution? Yeah,
that's a hard question because I'm living here and not really doing a lot and busy raising my children.
So here is in Hastings, New Zealand?
Yes, Hastings, Hawke's Bay, New Zealand.
Do you know what the population is here?
Of Hastings?
Yeah.
No, I don't.
No.
It's not very big though.
It's not a very big town, is it? There are some good musicians here.
There are one or two.
Yeah.
No, there are quite a few.
Yep.
That's terrible. No, there are. And there are people always coming as well. I think it's somewhere where people like to experience living.
So you've got teenage children?
I do, yeah.
And at some point do you think, like when they're not dependent on you so much, you may go?
Yeah, I will.
Yeah.
That's the plan.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I want to go somewhere where I can have a period of time in my life where I'm just singing. Although I do love my job,
And that's,
I want to see how
you're a social worker, sort of.
I'm a specialist teacher aide, and I work doing relational therapy with special needs teenagers, which is just awesome. And with the singing, working with the nervous system and the.
You use your music with.
Oh, absolutely! That's actually how
it's music therapy.
It's not. Well, I'm not a qualified registered music therapist, so I haven't studied music therapy per se, but I like to. Music therapy's always seemed like a bit of a narrow box to.
Okay. Yeah.
Because I do things, but I mean, again, I need to go and study music therapy to be able to accurately say that. But for example, it's a bit of a long story how I got into that, but it's to do with my performance anxiety.
Okay.
Yeah, and then singing at a funeral I sang at a funeral and I was very nervous about it, and I knew the family really well.
Yeah.
And when I was singing, so I've always described my singing as being like all of my insides are on the outside and people are watching it. I'm just not comfortable in that situation. I'm not. And of course, having ADHD, it's incredibly distracting for me to have people watching me.
Yeah, right, yeah.
But the moment I start singing, that completely just disappears. But it's always meant that I'm really useless at entertaining, putting on the, hi everybody. I just cannot do that.
Because you have that anxiety.
Hi guys.
When you're not singing, those feelings come back.
Yes,
but when you're singing,
immediately. Immediately I'm thinking, oh, that's right, everybody's looking at me. But at the funeral, that didn't happen at all. And it felt like I was singing Blackbird.
Yeah.
And it was
Blackbird.
And it was a boy who had drowned when he was 3 and become a tetraplegic.
Okay.
And wasn't didn't have a great life expectancy, but did live, I think, till his early 30s.
Okay.
And so I knew the family really well. And when I was singing, I was looking at the family, and it felt like it's such a physical exchange. It felt like my voice was like providing a scaffold for everybody to be, just falling into with however they were feeling. It was really, and so that's when I started to do a bit of research into the physiology of what's happening to our bodies when we sing.
Okay.
And then I started volunteering with very high needs primary age kids at a school on my days off, and I would work one-on-one with them with voice, and it's just a whole new avenue of communication. It speaks to so many different parts of our brain. So it's so I'm really like, when I talk about that, my eyes get wider. So I do really, really love my job.
That's great.
I love it.
Well, I think that's
I'm sorry, I can talk for ages.
That was perfect. Thank you so much for being involved in this.
No, thank you. It's lovely.
Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to check out my other videos, and hit like and subscribe.